November Foxtrot.
Yo.
How do?
We are a little bit late. For some reason, the video again didn't play as it was meant to, so I will have a chat with our tech team. Who is me? We're joined this week by James and Kevin from Defiant Events. Hi, guys. We've never had this many people on the podcast before. This is new, exciting development.
I like it. It looks good. We're set out nicely. Burst of excitement.
You can see it.
Did you know, fun fact, in the intro, you have enough time to take a bite of pizza and have a drink. There you go. For future
I'm not going to tell you what I do during the intro.
Use that 30 seconds wisely. Yeah.
Just enough time to get one sock off. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Oh, my DEA socks are held in customs and they want £35 to release them. So they've got to let us keep them.
Pair of fucking socks.
Pair of they wanted
socks.
35 quid. I went, I only paid £4.99 for them. You can keep them.
Maybe they're concerned you're going to try and impersonate a DEA officer.
Yeah, what with my socks?
Yeah.
Yeah, from the ankles down.
In the Victorian times, it was flash a bit of ankle.
Yeah.
He's going to be like one of those undercover cops that, like, you know, comes out and just announces his cover just as he's making love. Yeah. And it's just have his socks on and his badge going, "I'm from the DEA."
Yeah. Oh, just hop both feet up with DEA written on the bottom. Look, these are issued socks.
Oh dear! Right. Well, obviously,
was the plan to have every garment with DEA printed on it? Was it?
Oh, yeah, the pants were difficult. I haven't found any pants yet.
You can only find it with a D in the front, could you?
It's the itty bitty G string.
Yeah. It was just a straight line of the D, really. That's all.
So, hi to everyone that's joining us in the chat. To be honest with you, there's quite a lot of people, so I'm not going to be able to go through everyone's names, but generic hello.
Hello.
We're obviously going to be talking through Operation Red Tide, which is Defiant's next event. It's a week or so's time. But before we get to that, we've got a bit of news, some bits and pieces. So War and Peace Revival has been cancelled this year, which is a bit of a bummer.
Boo. Yeah, man.
I know we're all quite looking forward to sort of nipping along, sort of seeing if we can get a bit of a cheeky deal at some of the shops, but that's not going ahead. So if anyone's got any suggestions of an alternative sort of War and Peace style event that we can go to, ping it to us, and we'd be interested to find out. What else? We've got Titan batteries and now changed website, and they now do free shipping. So if you want to get batteries from them direct, that's a bit of a win for that one. And not to advertise a competition to Defiant, because I'm sure it's not. They're clearly not. But I've just found out that Ground Zero, so this is obviously the site that they run the National Airsoft Festival at, are running a battle sim this weekend, which I've wanted them to run an event for quite a while. I would probably prefer it to be a Defiant event. It sounds like it's going to be more of like a chilled kind of extended skirmish and then sort of beer and barbecue in the evening. Whereas, you know, I do like a hard routine event.
It's got the land for it, isn't it?
If that's a starter for things to come, or if, you know, Defiant, if you want to have a chat with them and sort of maybe utilize their site, I don't know.
Hint, big force on force.
MilSim. That was basically a.
Yeah, all right, lads.
Over to you.
I do have links with the guys over there, so it might be worth an inquiry if there is enough demand for it. So,
yes.
Guys watching,
well, there's 3 tickets here.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what about the guys watching? Would you be interested in a Defiant, like at least going and talking to the guys at Ground Zero to see if we can get used to their land?
There will be a bit of a delay on the response, but to give you an idea while we're waiting, the Ground Zero site, I think, is about 170 acres with quite varied terrain and bits and pieces.
Yeah. In my youth as a skirmisher, I did the Ground Zero weekend a couple of times.
30 years ago, man and boy.
It was a little while ago, to be fair. Yeah.
So there's Fresh Meat says yes, Matthew Hunt says yes, James said yeah. Carlo said, going to need a lot of players for that one. Ryan said
No.
if you can do long patrols and recce's, then yes.
We'll just spend 24 hours trying to find some bastard, shall we?
You call it MilSim.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
lots
think
of
that's a
yeses on that
resounding
one.
yes.
According
That's
to
gotta be
some
done.
groups out there, a MilSim is just a big walk in the woods, so we should be set up.
I
Exactly.
do that daily with a canine as well. So I'm an ultra operator.
Ultra operator.
Glad you haven't met my dog, so yeah, I would not send him in to sniff out an IED.
Just lie next to you.
No,
wouldn't he?
he'd just shit in the middle of the road and just walk back at me. Just
He'd
stare
pick
at
it
me
up and
like
bring
that.
it back to you, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Look what I found. Brilliant.
He is the IED layer.
He was at Empire today, anyhow.
Last bit of news: e-bike can now have an EU store, so that's pretty exciting. So thanks for
Nice.
Andy for picking that one up.
Yep.
And
sent me
then
an email.
Lance, you wanted to announce our competition winner.
Oh Christ, yes, I do. Hang on, I've got to get onto my massages though. Phil. Is it on the NoFo one or is it on my own one? Hang on.
Okay, well, while you're digging that, has anyone got any exciting purchases this week? I know Defiant, obviously, you guys, we are just buying DEA stuff left, right, and centre at this point. I've got patches coming out my frigging nostrils.
Yeah, I bought DA stuff. Can't use it though.
I got
Bloody AliExpress, you bastard. I bought a DEA t-shirt, blue one with yellow writing. There's a black one turned up with orange.
Bad
Thanks.
drills.
Yeah. Got the
So,
hat.
Read the small print.
Got the hat.
Is that looks gold? Was that gold?
No, it's
It was
my
the
green
background.
Screen, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
It's actually tree effect actually.
I was going to say you got the free
Yeah.
extra if you've got
The hat's
a
right.
gold
The hat's
inlay
navy blue and
DEA.
yellow, and the t-shirt was supposed to be, but that turned up as a black t-shirt with orange writing. But there we go. Yes, quick
Yeah,
competition.
colours may vary.
But massively.
yeah.
So the competition winner for the Spot the Difference was Mr. James McNary. Congratulations, you spotted all 6 differences. Tennis clap for you, sir. So yeah, that'll be in the post to you. The ration pack, which I made from our food show, which is
Well, whatever's left.
no, everything's left apart from the corned beef, which I have purchased a new one. So that's all coming out to you. You've got a couple of Wayfarer meals there, mate, and a big box of goodies, bits and bobs. Woo, cheers. Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
worries.
Woo, cheers.
So that is on the way to you as well.
Cool.
Marvellous. That was the competition bit.
Any other purchases? So Andy, you bought some glow sticks.
Big one. A couple of big ones.
I finally got my battery back from Titan.
Finally.
King's Day celebrations
long?
are now finished in the Netherlands or wherever it was. So I've now finally got my Titan. This
No,
did take a while.
the Netherlands are on leave again tomorrow. I don't know
mate.
why.
It's another
but
King's
there's
Day.
a public
There's
holiday
another
tomorrow
King's
in
Day,
the
yeah.
Netherlands.
Yeah,
So I was
Queen's
quite
Day.
excited when I had my issue with my Titan. Obviously, covered under warranty. Got in touch with them. They responded within a couple of hours. Said, "Yep, that's fine. That meets the warranty." Blah blah blah. Name, address, fill in this form. We'll get your new one sent out. So that was really well. That was really quick. It's probably 5 weeks waiting for this to come through now. After chasing it for a
So
bit,
long.
it did get sent halfway and then got sent back because of an invoice issue or something. So then it got sent again, and I chased it. And then a guy called Ralph said, "You do realise it's King's Day in the Netherlands, so it might not have been sent yet." I said, "Well, sorry, Ralph, I'm not from the Netherlands, so no, I didn't know it was King's Day." What's that got to do with my battery? And do the Kings ship it out personally then? Because I can't see why that would be an issue. But yeah, no, finally got it now. So yeah, nice one, Titan, for your warranty and all that. You know, you've held up your end of the bargain eventually. So yeah, good.
I had one through Combat South, and same with them. They would honour the Titan warranty. So buying it through a UK retailer, they'll exchange it and they'll then do the deal with Titan to get a replacement for their stock. So yeah, great batteries.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, cool. Oh, one after purchase, I've got my shirt for the Defiant for next weekend. My Crag Hopper Kiwi shirt.
Oh, I can't go wrong with them. They're well, anything Crag Hopper, I'm a fan of. To
Mate,
be fair.
yeah. Well, do you know what? I was looking at the Obi-Wan Norobi shirt. It's very expensive. And I thought, I'm not going to wear that very often. So I'm not going to spend £180 on a shirt.
Well, you say that. You say that. We're already
£180.
we're already thinking about doing a red tide dose. So a second red tide. Possibly. So there might be time to rock your DEA stuff again.
Okay.
So it's not a one-time purchase, one-time deal. We depending how it goes, but it's had a lot of interest, and it's definitely got grounds to grow, we could be looking at doing a second instalment.
Could it be a Red Tide 2 at Ground Zero?
Jesus.
Maybe with buildings, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't know,
maybe in an urban setting rather than a rural setting for Red Tide 2.
Cool.
Yeah,
Caravan park.
we've got
favelas.
ideas in the pipeline for another rural event. So yeah, might be urban. Then we've also got other ideas for urban events. So who knows? But
And
maybe
you've heard it here first.
maybe in the next year or so.
Marvelous. Sounds good to me.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's all my purchases. Yeah, very impressed with the Crag Hopper shirt. Wore it out the weekend for a walks around the forest. Built-in UV business, built-in insect repellent thing. Amazing.
Well,
where has it gone? The stats on here.
I'll tell you what, while we're talking about purchases, Defiant have made a fairly interesting purchase, which is a bit of a snippet of information for anybody going to Red Tide. We've bought some clear acrylic padlocks and lockpick sets, and certain individuals will be given a tuition on how to pick locks, and if the opportunity were to raise itself where you were to come across a clear acrylic padlock, you would be able, potentially, hopefully, be able to pick it. So, just different methods of entry.
But not pyro them.
Well, we got pyro coming out of our arseholes, honestly.
Nice.
We got enough pyro going around. We thought we'd go for something a little more subtle for a change. Give some options out there.
When you mentioned the lock picker, and that sounds awesome, but I can just foresee standing outside a doorway for half an hour waiting, just shouting at someone, "Fucking pick the lock!"
Snap guns.
Yeah. Always bring bolt cutters and a sledgehammer just in case. No.
Yes.
If you bolt cut my brand new acrylic padlock, you are in trouble.
Failing that, a 3-pack of Bic lighters.
Yeah.
It's a low-powered blowtorch. I'm just going through it now. Hang on.
To be fair, it's only acrylic lock. You probably just melt the lock off.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I thought you meant like actually try to use it as a oxyacetylene torch or something like that.
No, I could bring one of them though if you needed me to.
No,
see a load of guys with deodorant cans and lighters.
That'd be me chasing the spiders away.
There's been a few purchases from people in the chat. So Marky Mark has had a delivery today, a Desert DPM rocket pouches for his 45-litre Bergen. Apparently he's been on the hunt for a very long time for those.
Desert DPM is pretty cool.
I'll tell you, never seen Desert DPM Bergen. I've never seen one.
Well, I have seen occasionally on eBay US tricolour PLCE Bergens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is a bit of hen's teeth, but they do occasionally pop up. Yeah, you can't say no to a bit of US tricolour desert.
I think they were made for the Dutch Army.
I'd like to see that Bergen, mate. If you can
they were, yes.
Into us.
Yeah. They were made for the Dutch Army, so you do see them. If you put like Dutch tricolour as a search on eBay, you might come across some.
The good old Dutch.
Yeah.
Well, everything seems to be Dutch Army, doesn't it? Like, I know I've just bought like 2 or 3 Dutch Army Bergens because
and why not? Because you need them.
Exactly. Nerd 404 UK has got a TM MP7 #erect.
Absolutely. Well done, sir. Good on you.
Harry Lampard was asking if you bought glow-in-the-dark dildos for night ops.
I have.
No comment.
Yeah.
What would you class as a dildo?
I've got
anything
multiple.
as long as you're brave enough.
To be fair, I'm fully prepared to use Harry Lampard as a dildo.
Which end?
Which end?
I reckon feet first so that you can see the look on his face.
Yeah, feet first or sunflower.
I'm just going to move on. Ray says Red Tide 2 north of the Dartford Tunnel would be nice.
Hey, come on.
Okay.
You can't dictate geography to us.
Yeah. That's the trouble. You've got everybody else who MilSims sort of down there, and then Rage. and he travels.
Yeah. So I think
all the way down.
I say for this year, this is our first event south of the Dartford Tunnel this year. Our first two events have been up north, Midlands and up north. So we have been moving out towards our customers and sort of spreading the sort of Defiant wings, for our players. So this is the first one.
Yeah, this one next week, if the wind's in the right direction, you should actually be able to piss in Kevin's back garden.
Please don't.
Handy to know.
And we've got my safe space.
I've got safe space.
Nerd 404 UK, would Red Tide 2 not be a red title mark?
Oh. We love Nerd, but that's for sure.
He also said, could he bring his own lock picks? Apparently he had them at Merlin, but couldn't find a good lock.
Good lock as in one worth picking or one that he could pick.
No, if you're on a team that receives tuition for picking locks, then fine, use your own setup. No, actually, fuck it. No, bring your own lock picks. It's fine.
Yep.
And he also said, are they acrylic so you can see the pins?
Yes, they are. Locks for dummies.
Right. Nerd's been down this road before. Is he on our side?
Yeah. Carlos says jet boils for breaching tools. That's well.
Jet boils for breaching tools.
That's Olight, isn't it? Strap an
Olight to the lock. Yeah.
James C, that sounds like an excellent game idea, Splinter Cell-esque. Love that. Harry Lampard, interesting purchase, an interesting shirt for James for Red Tide. Can't wait.
Oh, I've got one for you, Harry. Don't worry.
And Dan is picking up a tag launcher tomorrow to pester the DEA. So
I don't recognise tags as a real thing, so it won't affect me.
Just immune. Just ear protection.
I do not identify or socialise with tags.
So if anyone wants to throw a question in the chat, please feel free to do so. If you could just tag it with a Q at the beginning of it, it just makes it easier for me to find. I will pick them up if they don't, but just help me out, guys. It's always good.
Help brother out.
But we'll jump into it. So we've obviously got Red Tide, Operation Red Tide coming up. The three of us will be on the DEA. Guys, what can we expect from your amazing event?
Right. Okay, I'll start. I think
the unexpected.
The unexpected. I think obviously one of the things we did the other night there, and we've done 2 lives for our players before the event. So the live for the DE boys the other night, James and I did that, and then we did the first one for Cartel last night, and the second Cartel one set up for tomorrow evening. So I think from Defiant, what we try to do is from the time we get you booking, get you into either Facebook groups, get you into WhatsApp groups, get that conversation, get that pictures of your gear and stuff all going, get the chance to ask questions. The live was set up to really give that almost that face-to-face. People who hadn't met James and I before to actually see us. We're running the sort of DS part for DA. We're running the event for Defiant and giving people the chance to ask questions. And I think I'm not aware of anyone else who actually does that over here, at least anyway. So I think from that point of view, we start to have that engagement with our players. And, we've had ideas, we've had questions, we've had suggestions. Some are great. We've run with some of those. Some of them are ones that you couldn't run with safely or legally. But I think as a starting point is even before you come on site, we are approachable. You can reach out to us. You can find out more about the event, and hopefully we can answer some of your questions beforehand.
Hang on, some of us are approachable.
Yeah. Yeah. James, do you want to talk a little bit about the start of the event, kind of generic for both teams? Or 3 teams, I should be saying.
Yeah, I guess.
On you now.
I might leak some information, Kevin, if you're happy with that. Actually, for a start, I think that Intel got leaked onto Instagram and Facebook today, or maybe just Facebook. So have a look up on our Facebook because some later, not during this live, later, you might find some intel there. Some maybe a message from the Espada.
Yeah.
who is the big boss man in the country. Anyway, what can you expect? Well, let's go on from game start. I think we're going to kick off by making waves. Yeah, we're definitely going to rock the boat early. Expect a bit of a pyrotechnic display straight off. Obviously, we're starting at 2,300 hours. I would not recommend starting with nods on. Let's put it that way. We're going to turn nighttime into daytime for a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, unless you want a permanent blem right in the middle, about the size of your fist. Yeah, let's throw those nods for a bit.
Fair play. So that's confirmed. It's a 2,300 start time on the Friday night for the op.
That's correct. Yeah. So our safety brief is going to be 2,100, and then start for 2,300.
Nice.
I do think, unlike most of our Defiant events before, we're going to go in with some certain role play activities off the bat, but I don't think they're going to drag on too long before we start seeing contacts, which is a bit of a refreshing change. Historically, we've done role play for a hell of a lot longer before creating contact. This time around, we're going to do a little bit of role play stuff, a little bit of scene setting, and then we're going to ignite that contact. That doesn't mean that we're not going to go back to more role play and sort of like settle it down a bit, because we certainly are, because I don't think at that point anybody would be capable of doing 30 odd hours of full-on contact. But yeah, it's just setting some expectations there. We had a few bits of feedback before. It was like it's taking too long to get going. Well, that's not going to be the case this time. But we've got to find the right balance between the role play and the investigative side and the contact.
Yeah, sounds good idea actually. I like that.
So obviously we've got two cartels. One cartel is like a resident cartel. The other one is like the Young Pretenders, the sort of invading cartel as part of the story. So that's definitely going to cause some friction and some tension between those two sets of players. DA and Task Force, at the bequest of the Colombian government, are in the area. The cartels are not really aware of that fully, unless they've been in the lives, obviously. I'm not really aware of that or their locations, so they'll be trying to find where we are, trying to get the idea of Task Force and DA numbers. But also, this new cartel around looking for drug labs, materials, and they want to try and take as much of the resin cartels, materials, and resources and infrastructure away from them as early as possible. So cartel on cartel action is going to be the main part of the first part of the event, and how those two cartels protect the resources, steal each other's resources, how they evade Task Force stroke DA is going to be a real challenge for them. So they should, they will obviously respond to Task Force and DA if they get on their sort of manner or their patch, their turf or something. But they're going to be looking out for this other cartel who are after their, resources and whatever else. So that's going to be having that third side is going to really keep everyone thinking about what's happening and what they're doing. So it's a thinking game. So yes, there's the explosion, the fireworks.
Harry Lampard's fucked them, isn't he?
Yeah, thinking.
That's why I'm staying quite in the middle. So fucking hell.
There's no way you can keep 36
Sorry,
hours
Harry,
of non-stop contact. So this idea of putting scenarios in that make the players think, make the teams think, Task Force and DA are going to have to respond to what they see of how the cartels are operating in the area of operation. So yeah, it's going to be lots to watch, lots to see, lots to respond to. Are there HVIs? Is there intelligence that DA and Task Force are going to get during the event? Do they respond to that? How do they respond to that? Our Task Force, have they got reconnaissance elements on the ground? Are they as fighting patrols? DA, are DA going out just literally shots and a pistol belt on, as like police would be, not tooled up with plate carriers and helmets and longs, trying to interact with the local population? local population who might be this fadder, who might be the major drug dealer or the chemist in the site as well. So there's going to be lots of interaction and lots trying to suss out who's who during this event.
I've seen Sicario. Some of them do walk around with M249s. Just saying.
That's just for Hollywood.
100% a thing. I've seen it on the television.
Yeah, you'll have to ask your commander about that as to what you're allowed to carry on the field for certain operations.
Well, I hope to got my pistol back from Empire then.
So what are you two sort of personally looking forward to? So obviously you run the event, and there'll be your own little kind of just like, ooh, that was good moment. Like what are you looking forward to for that?
My bed
other than just turning night into day on the first night.
Bed Sunday night.
That is pretty much it.
It's a weird one, a really weird one. If you come and find me 3/4 or 2/3 through an event and go, "Oh, James, how's it going?" I will say, "It's fucking shit. I hate this. This is crap. I'm stressed to bollocks. I really don't like it." And then
I'm never doing it again. That's another one.
Yeah, I'm never. And then 3 hours after index, I'm like, "That was great." Like, honestly, it's like all the bad things just disappear. So, what am I looking forward to most? To be honest with you, what I'm looking forward to most is about hearing about our customers' interactions and our customers' experience, right? What the players get out of it. That's what I'm looking forward to most, right? I've promised myself that I'll get out on the ground more this time around, because I think at the last op we did at Merlin, I only got on the ground twice. The rest of the time, I was very much managing teams from attack op center, right? I've got additional help this time around, not as much as I'd like, but I've got some additional help that should be able to fill in that gap and hopefully allow me to walk through the AO at times, and possibly interact with players and maybe even get my gun on. You never know. So yeah, they're my personal aims. So I want to get out on the ground more often. And
I might use that as a tactic, actually. Sorry, chaps, James just told me to go over there, so just keep yourselves to yourselves for a minute.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's those moments when people, if there's something that's, there's things that happen through the event that people enjoy. There's things that we are planning at different stages through the event. And if we plan something during the event and a team going to do a sort of set piece that's sort of written into the sort of 36 hours, and they walk out with a huge smile on their face, and you see that if you're with them, or if you jump on your high vis vest and you're sort of doing this a bit of a sort of DS at that point, maybe for a safety element or something, and you see that excitement in people's faces and they enjoy it, that's absolutely huge as well, just to see that enjoyment during the event. And I suppose one of the other things that you boys won't have done before, having not done a Defiant event, is yes, we do the live beforehand, but we also do a feedback form. So after the event on Sunday evening, you'll get a feedback form. So we sit frantically reading through those on the Sunday night, the Monday morning through next week, and we meet to sort of like look at what people have said as basically what went well, and what bits didn't go so well for players that could be changed again. So from our first two events this year, we have altered some of our rules from previous events, and in response to that feedback that we're actually given from our players to actually make this event better. And I think that's the bit I look forward to, is like, we're talking already about Red Tide 2. I would love that after next weekend, you guys have a great time, and you're messing us straight away. Kev, James, when is Red Tide 2? Where is it going to be? We want to go. To get that level of player satisfaction, that's basically what gives us the enjoyment out of it, is that the people that we put it on for are saying, we want to do the next one, we want to come back. And we've got guys on this call tonight who've been to every event that we've done at Defiant. And and even the last couple of years, the last 5 or 6 as we started after lockdown, guys have come to every single event.
I mean, as much as I take the piss out of him, I think Harry Lampard's now been to every single one of our events, every single one. So we've got to be doing something wrong to attract a muppet like that.
Yeah, depends
So
on
we
what clientele
really
you
ought
want
to
to go for.
improve at some point.
I'm going to stand up for him. I think you should give him some sort of like gold Defiant patch or something like that to celebrate that.
The man
That's
requires
pretty
a golden
loyal, to be
hog
fair,
patch
isn't
or
it?
something.
Golden
fair,
wooden spoon.
I love Harry to bits. He's a brilliant bloke. He's great fun. He's fun to take the piss out of, but also he knows how to take the piss as well. He's he's a good bloke. He's a good bloke.
That's
right?
good. We like that.
At the last event, Harry managed to walk in as a civilian into James's fob, do up to James was, and literally take his flag. He was going to take his off his shirt.
No, he didn't. He didn't. I was sat at this fucking table, and he walks over to me. He was like, "You're right, James." I was like, "What the fuck are you doing here? How did you get in here?" And he went, "I just walked in." Right? And my stag party's just standing there looking out, guns up, apart from the bloke that's at the front gate who sat in the back of a snatch Land Rover on his phone. I was like, right, I'll deal with that in a minute. Right? Yeah. Honestly, I was like, right, I'll deal with that in a minute. Anyway, he went, "Can I have your task force flag?" And I was like, I mean, he hadn't killed me. He was utterly unarmed as a civilian. But the fact that he walked in there was like, yes, you can have the task force flag. Not that we don't condone playing capture the flag. Let's put it that way. But he wanted a trophy. He had a trophy. Then he was like, "Can I have your call sign patch?" He was like, "Can I have your call sign patch?" I was like, you're pushing it, lad. You're not doing that. So yeah, he took a couple of photos of him, and he wore this fucking task force flag as a cape the rest of the fucking event. So much so, he wound me up. Anyway, I bollocked the section that was on stag for having poor drills, and then I think it was 3-4 o'clock in the morning. I got my own back when I sent a team in to go and they wiped out his entire team. They killed them all, most of them in their beds, and a few of them were fighting in their underpants.
Marvelous.
And we got some great pictures out of that. So yeah, which I've had printed onto a mug. So I've got a mug shot of their death mugs. Yeah. So that now lives in the back of my Land Rover for when I'm, wanting a brew when I'm out in my wagon, and I can drink from Harry Lampard's skull. Effectively, that's
when you're feeling down.
Harry is watching. Harry, next tasking James's mug. All right.
Touch my fucking mug, I'll have your mug.
Lance, I think you had a question about sleeping arrangements.
Oh yes. So obviously, I know you guys covered
you can sleep next to me, Lance. No worries.
That's it. I'm done. That's all I wanted to know. Thanks, guys.
You're cool. You're in.
No, all it was
might get caught together. You never know.
Yeah, it's like foxes after they mate. They're stuck for about half an hour, aren't they? Just be like, "James, this is now awkward. We're like this far apart." No, what it was, obviously, you guys covered a lot of details in your live stream the other night on Facebook. So, with regards to like the fob sort of sizes for different factions and that, can you elaborate ever so slightly? Obviously, we know certain teams have got hard covers. I mean, for a shelter system type of view, is it worth people bringing any additional shelter type things just in case there's a limited space? Or
yeah, I think we are at a situation where we can fit all of Task Force and DEA under roofs.
Right. Okay.
Think. However, we've asked some of the Task Force guys to bring bashers, because if we have to send them outside of the fob due to capacity,
whatever reason, yep.
Yeah, we will do that. But we should be able to manage it. El Hatcha are operating out of an area that's very much like a village. Okay. There's lots of little bays, okay, let's be frank with you, it's an airsoft safe zone, right? It's got little bays with fucking roofs over the top, right, with tables in them, right? They will be happy as Larry. They won't have to take any kind of shelter system, cot bed and a blankie, and they'll be fine, right?
Lovely.
So that's El Hatcha. Del Golfo, they will be operating out of another kind of makeshift village. However, most of those buildings don't have roofs on. Right, they're the worst up for cover and overhead cover. So they will have to take bashers, tents, tarps, etc.
Right. Okay. Cool.
However, so far the weather looks glorious, and if it holds out, I wouldn't worry about having a roof over your head. To be honest with you, I'd sleep under the stars.
Yeah, I'll just
Beautiful. I did that at Longmore actually a while ago.
But yeah, we are still a
me awake
week out.
snoring all night. But I think they might.
Yeah.
Well, that is the other benefit.
Look, that was just because you. So the Longmore thing, right? Just to clarify, is we had a load of guys in one of the Longmore containers, which is very close proximity. I snore. It's very clear that I snore. I can't help it, right? But I was not the only one in that fucking container snoring, and I don't know who was dropping
Mike,
whatever was coming out of their ass. Yes.
What's your call sign for
I'm
next
not telling
weekend?
you.
Well, I can go and look at your bat. What's your call sign for next weekend?
2-0.
I want to know how far I'm going to have to put your call sign from my sleep situation.
It won't make any difference, mate. It won't make a blind bit of difference.
It travels.
You could put us with El Hatcher and you'd still hear him.
No, that's fine. All right, I'll go for option 2, which is to put a pair of boots next to my bed. They're not for slipping on if we get contacted. They're for throwing at his head. Yeah.
I'm just sleeping in my Peltors with them turned off.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's very rare, to be fair. It's very rare that I sleep at the bed.
It is rare. And if he does snore, I usually find the ball bag muffles the sound quite well.
Oh.
Andy, you had a question.
Yeah, so obviously DEA, what sort of weapons can each faction sort of, what we're going to be looking at? Like earlier you mentioned no LMG for the DEA, maybe?
No, well, we mentioned that there are certain taskings where DEA may be on, where it will be more useful to go and do that kind of, be more approachable kind of a thing. Right. Yep. So for that reason, we will ask you to strip down to pistol belts, right? We won't be in helmets, we'll be in ball caps, we'll be in standard clothes, so that we can be more approachable to those teams and individuals. Now, I fully understand that this is airsoft, right? But this is part of the role play sort of stuff. But you wouldn't walk in and wave an LMG in someone's face and be like, all right, what can you tell me about what went on 2 hours ago, right? It ain't going to happen, is it? Right? But to be approachable, to have a pistol maybe on your hip, because we don't really run concealed carry rules, but have a pistol on your hip, but go in and have a conversation is fine. In terms of weapon systems that each team can run, we don't really limit it. We ask people to run more realistic weapon systems, but that's not a hard and fast rule. Okay. What I mean by that is I don't have a problem if someone on one of the cartel's teams has a HK416. I'm not going to say, well, that's very unlikely because that's a very expensive weapon system, right? It is what it is. If they can run,
how much money the cartel have got?
Sorry, well, it all depends on how much they can sell, doesn't it? But you know what I mean. I mean, this is airsoft at the end of the day. We don't want to say no, you can't come and play because you've got the wrong gun. That's very unfair. Now, that is to within reason. We don't allow two tones. We don't allow sci-fi guns, race guns, and that kind of stuff. We don't want to see your lime green Thunderball and your
so my hand solo loadout wouldn't be appropriate then.
Probably not.
Not this weekend.
Back in the cupboard, man.
It's about being semi-realistic. I think, and this helps to. People treat the word immersion as a dirty word, but I honestly don't, because ultimately the word sim in MilSim, simulation and immersion is very, very closely linked. So I've got no issues with saying, those weapon rules are about immersion. Now, if the guys can run AK and more old school or generic weapon systems, then that's better rather than, running a SIG MCX with, all tricked out, all that sort of stuff. For Op4 anyway, makes sense. Mm-hmm. But sorry to bring her up again, but Harry Lampard, when he's come to our events before, you've seen him running around with things like M1 Garands and bolt action Car 98s,
He has just
and it's
jumped in the
brilliant.
chat and said, "No sci-fi guns puts Master Chief outfit and rifle back."
Yeah, Harry is just a wind-up fucking meme all by himself.
He is a meme.
I urge anyone new to Defiant events, if Harry tells you something, do the fucking opposite, all right?
Carlos, he said the same thing. He said, "What? No lime green Thundermaw? Can I get a refund?"
To be fair, when did you last see a Thundermaw? That was an early 2000s phase, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, we got loads of questions coming in. There's about 15 or 16 queued up so far. So Lucas says, just wondering how Defiant events see themselves in comparison to, for example, Sterling Airsoft.
Difficult one, different, but with some similarities. Okay. I'm going to pass this one to Kevin because I've been talking too much, and Kevin's done more Sterling events than I have anyway.
Right. So Sterling are by far they are the UK benchmark for MilSim events. Legion are out there as well. Other companies have come and gone in the past as well. So Sterling are out there. Matt and the guys up there, I would call personal friends as well. They've been running for so long. They've got a lot of infrastructure. They've got a lot of team players with wagons and things that add to that sort of level of immersion. They've got sites. They've sort of bespoke used to. They've spent a lot of time and money investing in places with the trees as well. And they're the people that actually get to use sites like Katik. We're not Sterling. There's a lot of things that we do that are like a Sterling event. There are things that we do a little bit different, and I think we've touched on a little bit with that role play element. And I think that's something that our players see as being different. I think for this one,
videos about.
I think for this one, we're obviously putting in different elements for this one as well. The two of us, almost to be compared to Sterling in the same sentence, I would turn around from a Defiant point of view and say that's a compliment. It's a compliment to what we have done and achieved in the last sort of 2 years. So I take that first and foremost as a compliment. Who's going to whistle?
Yeah, I think that's my computer. I apologise. I'm going to try and sort it out. Just keep going.
Someone's got an overheating issue.
Kettle's boiled, Mike.
Oh, it's because the wife plays around with.
Sounds
Milky
like
two, please, mate. Milky two.
Is
that better? It's because my wife plays around with the computer while I'm not here. So.
She's been downloading those naughty videos again.
She has.
Oh.
Is that better? Is that gone?
See, I told you not to get that subscription for Christmas,
Right.
didn't I?
Hey, Mike, remember how this call started?
Blimey, that's gone already.
I have seen some mega pints being poured. Mega pints of
I've got a
wine.
bit left.
Kev's magically turned his red wine into a G&T now. That's clever.
I ran out. I'm moving on. I need depart.
Sorry, Kevin.
I mean, he's Jesus. He turns
You
wine
are,
into wine.
Defiant events will not allow drinking. Defiant does not allow drinking at their events. Yeah, off duty is another matter.
So yeah, on that question, James can add a little bit as well. Compliment to be used in to be mentioned in the same sentence. Lots of things that are sort of similar. As I say, I've played their events for a long, long time. Little bits of pieces we've stole, little bits of pieces we've taken from elsewhere and adapted, and going on a parallel path. I wouldn't say there's a great divergence in the direction that both companies are actually going. Ultimately, we want people to come to our events and take part and play and enjoy, as does Sterling. So, yeah, they've got access to some sites that we'd never get trees. Although I think Dog Tag's got a lot to offer that actually is better than the trees in some ways, but there's disadvantages there as well.
It's not as hilly.
It's not as hilly. I don't mind the hills, mate.
Just enough.
I did a few sessions at the hills, and then I bought a Land Rover so I could drive up them.
Yeah. I say it's like, if we sat in almost 20 years' time and said Defiant event for running the same length of time as Sterling was running, it'd be a huge celebration of what we're trying to do at the moment, basically, for me.
Cool.
James, can I add to that?
Mate, I'm half cut now.
He just wants to start singing.
Yeah, he's sitting there looking at
Oh, please don't do that.
He's like, can we get on to the singing part?
Yeah, I mean, look, we love Sterling events. We love Sterling. The guys there are great. We do things differently. I'm not going to say. I personally think that we do some things better. Okay, but I also think that Sterling do some things better, and it depends on what your priorities are in an event. Okay,
And the style of the event as well.
Yeah.
You know, what sort of gameplay you're going for. You know, how you want it to progress, how you want it to sort of crescendo up into the middle and sort of peter out a little bit, or how it's going to work. You know? And essentially, it's down to the players as well.
Exactly that. Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, no matter what event organizer you go to, you get back what you put in. Okay, if you try your hardest, if you're open to getting stuck in, you're gonna have a great event, no matter what. I mean, even if the opposition are not always the most honest, even if there are problems with the plans and how it's implemented, you know, by the game organizer, which, you know, is a massive factor. It does happen. We can't predict everything, but as long as you put in 100% and you're open to getting stuck in, you'll have a great event.
Yeah,
we hope.
Absolutely, mate.
Fair enough. So I'm getting a load of abuse on the chat about the computer wearing. So James McNary, Defiant guys, will you be going back to Camp Sparta at all, or further up north?
Yes. Basically, yes. Obviously, we did our first event. You know, obviously, when you meet a site owner and you have that sort of introduction, you play the site, you have feedback, their staff on the Sunday for the clear up. You speak to some site owners, and you know, a lot of people go to use sites, and some people use a site and they won't be asked to come back as well. So what we want to do is leave a clean, tidy site and a happy site owner to give us the chance to go back as well. And I think for us, Sparta was our biggest event, our biggest urban event, and there's a lot we learned from that as well. So we would definitely like the opportunity to be back up there. I think the site would have us back, and we would want to correct some of the things that we got wrong. I think some of those things we're doing at Red Tide. So I think, you know, for players to actually say there's lots of positives and want to come back and give us a second chance, we would be giving them a different event at Sparta second time round than we got the first time.
So yeah, Martin, the guy down there that runs Camp Sparta, he's a fantastic guy. He's an absolute font of knowledge. He said to Kevin and I that this first event you do down there will be hard. It will be very hard, and it was. It was very difficult for us to run that Operation Merlin. But the second event will be easier because we will know how the site works that much better. For that reason, I'm bloody hell, kettle's on. I can take off now. Shit.
I like Carlo's comment, two-stroke modem.
I'm literally waiting for Mike to start shaking and then just launch. Just his little feet.
Oh, I can't tell you how frustrating this is. It really is. Like,
can you just mute your mic and go away?
Genuinely, if it was something I could do, or if it was intentional, hands up, fine. If it's not, can't do anything about it.
Anyway, to get back on track, we haven't contacted Camp Sparta for a little while yet. Let's get Red Tide out of the way. We may recontact Martin about running another event at Camp Sparta. Okay, it might happen. I'm not making promises, but it might happen. Okay.
And that's another site I'd like to visit. I've not visited that yet. That would be cool.
It's a great site, it really is.
Yeah, nice. Get to a Sterling event, get the Camp Sparta, and also attend a Sparta under the Defiant flag would be awesome.
Yeah, fair one.
Yeah,
that'd be cool, mate. It'd be cool. Yeah.
Carlos says, Lance, will the sandals return for Red Tide?
Oh, the sandals. So Carlo must have been at the Arabs weekend, because that's when I rocked the sandals with Mr. Kettles. in our civvy pop. No, these sandals, these are serious. I've got sandals. I might. Do you know what? I will. They'll be there for the Friday.
No. Crocs, socks, and windproof smocks. That's the way to go.
You haven't seen these sandals, honestly. They are horrific. But especially with white socks on as well.
Crocs, socks, and windproof smocks. That is the vibe.
Yes, the sandals will be there, Carlo, mate. So yes, I expect to see you come running towards me.
If you get a photo of Lance's sandals this weekend, send it to us at nofochat@hotmail.com.
Yeah, preferably without my feet in them.
Now you get extra money.
Grabbing my legs up.
If you capture one of them, we'll give you a patch. I'll give you a patch. If you capture just one. So
Lance's sandals becoming the most important target for the weekend.
That's it. Yeah. My sandals are not becoming contraband for Defiant. Pleasure.
Wonderballs asks, S-Vest safe pyros?
Okay, so Mr. Wonderballs, if you can DM me, firstly, with what pyrotechnics you're planning to use that are S-Vest safe, and secondly, can you show me a scenario where a cartel member has used an S-Vest? Then we'll think about it. Until then, no. S-Vest, as far as I'm aware, S-Vest is not a tactic generally used by cartels.
It's taken me that long to work out what S-Vest actually was. I've just clocked it. Nice.
That's what I'm like. You keep that kettle boiling, Sunshine.
Yeah,
it's a great day today. It's really, really, really enjoying. I mean, it's always a pleasure having you guys on the chat.
It stands for safety, like safety.
Safety vest.
Safety vest. For
so what he's asking for is a safety vest, safe pyro. That's what he's asking for.
Harry Lampard asks, non-pyro banned sites at night time, will this be able to happen?
Well, so this is why we have sort of partnered up and have introduced this new product of the flash grenades that we reached out to bulk pyro supplies and flashbang smoke about making. If you're not aware that we obviously we know about pyro bans at night time and the noise limitation, right? So we've reached out to these guys about making pyrotechnic devices that are all flash, no bang, and that's what we've had created. So when these things go off, they literally go off at the volume of a conversation. So, and they don't even do a bang; they do like a whoomp or like hiss or thump kind of a noise. So nobody even standing near them will recognize it as a detonation, but the flash output and the puff of smoke will let them know that they're within range of a kill. So that's
Good.
what we've looked at to put in place to basically negotiate around those issues. Will we get to a site that doesn't have nighttime pyro bans? Potentially. I mean, realistically though, there are very few sites out there that don't have nighttime pyro bans. Things like Longmore, things like Cope Hill Down don't, which may be things that we're looking into. We know of a couple of others that we may inquire for, but they're few and far between. They really are, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's going back to that comment you made then, James, about the nighttime pyro having the bright flash and obviously the cloud of smoke. That cloud of smoke comment there, that'd actually be handy during the day as well, because sometimes it can be hard if you've got your back to something. If you was to turn and see that, obviously, that's clearly gone off within my 5 meter kill zone or something like that. That little bit of a cloud of smoke, that'd be well handy, I think.
I mean, I'm not a pyrotechnic engineer. I mean, I've blown a few things up in my time, but I'm not a pyrotechnic engineer, right? But as far as I'm aware, what these devices are thermobaric grenades without the bang. Okay, right, so you've launched, you've thrown thermobarics before. They do give off a decent puff of smoke. So the same concept applies here.
Cool, nice.
All right. Yeah, that would be interesting.
So we've got them for this event. We've got them as ring pull, and we've also got them as electric decks, so they can be used with like wireless remote decks as well, or if you've got like a plaque on a cable.
We've got strike top as well. So we've got strike top, ring pull, and EDET. We were looking at the fly off leather style, the really posh, really Gucci ones. Problem with them is they have a primary charge that ignites the main detonation or the main det. That primary charge was registering as still at too high for what would be our acceptable levels for nighttime use. It wasn't massively loud, but it was still recognizably loud, and it was effectively a bang, which meant that it could be, but if there were ears around, they would be able to say, well, that was a bang. Whereas the ring pull and the strike top types, it just literally goes whoomp. It's not a bang or a pop. So it's all about audio camouflage, basically.
No, fair play, mate. Nice. Looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Something else to not pointing on to that.
Yeah,
we've shared this with Ross at Dog Tag, and he's approved. He's allowed us to use them during the night, so we've got the go ahead for this event.
We will be doing some pretty decent demos with it, straight off the bat.
Yeah, and it's like if you think of the wider picture, it's going to be for us to go to another site, show them, let them hear this. Demonstrate it to them and get that approval, and that's whether it's going to be us or, as you said, on Sterling, whatever else. Because Flashbang Smoke, they were at a Sterling game and they were putting out the sort of 3-bang mortar rounds, and that's another product that they were working with them with.
They're wicked.
Lots of new products come into the market from like Bulk Pyro and Flashbang Smoke, working with Sterling, working with ourselves. And Sterling, you go to Catterick, as James has said, you don't get nighttime at Catterick, they stop bangs. But if they're happy and the MOD are happy at Catterick for that to happen, then they should hopefully allow Sterling to use those at nighttime to keep that 24-hour sort of flashbang type effect for the whole 24 hours and not have a pyro ban. So it should hopefully make 24-hour events 24 hours long. You can do everything for the full 24 hours.
Definitely, that's wicked. If it progresses it and makes it that, just again adding that a bit of immersion, isn't it? Just keeping it going. Not sorry guys, you can't use any pyro or sort of grenade fragmentation stuff at night time. You can carry that on now, so you can use these.
Yeah, so
it's just an alternative to navigate around a particular problem that we've identified, or that I'm sure it's not we that identified it. It's many people that identified it.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of sites. I know the AI event that we went to, there was a big issue with sort of pyro noise and stuff like that. So
yeah, you think about Camp Sparta, you're not allowed percussive pyro outside. Well, now you can. Well, it's not percussive, but you know what I mean. You can put
it's still exactly. You've still got that threat there, haven't you now? Whereas before you couldn't have it. So it's cool.
Rage has asked, sort of just as a quick follow-up to that, he says, I saw bulk pyro supplies do this night safe pyro. Will they be available to buy at Red Tide?
Yeah, they've been built for Red Tide, to be trialled at. Well, not trialled, but they have been trialled by us, Cool. But yeah, the first sales are at Red Tide.
What sort of price, James? Can you discuss that? What we'd be looking at for purchase of a single unit or boxes?
I can't know, because it's not Defiant that is selling them. That's why we teamed up with Bulk Pyro Supply to do that for us.
Okay.
Not for us, but you know what I mean. We don't sell BBs, we don't sell pyros. We put on events, all right? That's what we do. We thought if we're going to have pyro sales involved, we're going to get the best in, and that's Bulk Pyro Supply as far as we're concerned. So reach out to him. I did see a post from him recently, at least it was in the last 24 hours, because it's still on our Instagram stories, of him confirming the price list for Red Tide. So if you want to know about prices for those devices or any others that he's got in stock for Red Tide, reach out to him.
Cool. And will he be there then, or is it just ordering from them for the event?
No, he will be there with stock.
Awesome. That's quality. I love that.
I hope he's got the patches, because I really want one of his patches.
Yeah,
the little leather one. They look pretty nice.
To be fair, I might have to trade him a Defiant patch for one, because I haven't got one of his leather patches either.
I'm just trying to find his Instagram here, actually. Trying to find those.
Be like back at school with the football cards with a rubber band around a load of patches. All right, I've got this one. Do you want to trade for the?
Oh, he talks patches.
Well, that's awkward because it's like, is this patch worth more or less?
I actually got a new patch today.
Nice.
Yeah.
I need to get one of those as well. Oh, they're cool.
Oh yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
they're the DS patches. So yeah.
James, what's it worth as a trade? What's it worth as a trade?
Kev, mate.
You have to prove your value and be bought in on the team, but we do have a few M81.
Oh, I saw them. Yeah.
With the red ones, so these are available. It's literally because I was sorting my kit out and I found a bundle of them that I didn't know I had. So we got a bunch of these that will be going up for sale at the event. They're not going on the website. It will be only for sale at Red Tide, unless they don't sell, in which case we'll put them on the website. And also the Tomahawk Spearhead, got them as well. All right. Nice. So very limited numbers, but we have a few knocking around.
Cool. Good. Sorry, I'm trying to keep myself muted while the between sort of questions and stuff. Dan asks, will you be at a big disadvantage if you do not have nods?
No, because it's bright till, what is that now, 9 o'clock at night. It's going to be bright to 10 o'clock, and it's bright again at 4:30 in the morning. So, yes, it's 2 nights. The event's for 2 nights, but of the whole 36 hours, there's only going to be 14 hours of 36 hours is actually going to be darkness. So 24 hours or 22 hours of the event is going to be in daylight without nods.
So let's be fair, night vision is a superpower. It's a kind of lame one, but it is a superpower. But there are ways to navigate around it, right? If you're wearing night vision, typically, if there's any kind of ambient light that there is at Red Tide, because you get natural light, where you get natural light from the moon. You also get light pollution from Crawley. If you're not wearing nods and you let your eyes adjust to the environment, you can pick the darker shadows to move between. You can't do that with nods as well. Yeah. So in some instances, wearing nods are a hindrance over natural night vision. In some instances, it's if you're aware of your surroundings, if you're slow and stealthy, you can do just well enough without nods. We know, Kevin and I know some pretty professional reconnaissance guys who don't wear night vision devices. They would rather stick to the shadows, move slowly. And fuck it, if guys are moving past with nods on, you can see that green or white eye splash. You know, it's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we've been many event, Mike, haven't we, without nods?
Yeah. Cut
about quite comfortably at night time.
Well, I don't own nods, so most events I go to, I don't have nods. So, yeah.
But it's never taken us out of the game, is it, of night time?
No, it's never taken it out of the game. It's just obviously a massive advantage to the other team if I'm approaching them through the tree line trying to be super stealthy and they're like, "Hi, Mike, how are you?" Have you got any restrictions on nods as well in terms of like the cartels or anything like that?
Absolutely.
Like mountability, like helmets and stuff like that for mountable options.
No. We think that look, let's be fair. If people like us can get hold of night vision devices, why couldn't people, that are rolling in drug money?
The buy rights should be even better.
Sorry?
The buy rights, their kit should be even better than ours.
Potentially, yeah. So I really don't think it's fair to roll an advantage like night vision onto one team only. All right. We're all up there for a level playing field and a fair fight. Anybody that says, Op4 shouldn't be running nods, then they might as well enter a boxing match with bloody primary school children. That's an unfair fight. Sorry, I've slightly contradicted myself by saying that nods don't make a big difference, but you can sort of tell what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, definitely. What about, I know some sites, I believe Legion previously used to do it, was obviously tack helmets and stuff for Op4 was a no. They could use skull caps and handhelds, but they couldn't actually have it mounted to a lid because of
so
PID in at night time for
I've
NATO units and stuff.
I've gone to different event organisers looking at their rules. They did at one point go handheld only. What they've done for their next 24, 36 hour event is they've said Op4 can't wear helmets during the day, but they're allowed to wear the helmet so they can mount their nods at night time. So they've sort of gone away from that, as you said. It's like that complete chest rigged and like man bag. And I say in some ways it's like one of the things we've talked about doing is a future event, say something like a Northern Ireland event, okay, which would be a little bit different, okay. You wouldn't really have an Op4 and full military kit and that type of UK urban insurgency type thing. That would be dressed down, and that would be the case for like a bag and a handheld device would work well for that. So our event, as James said, if you look at the cartels in Mexico and Colombia and wherever else, they are paramilitary type style cartels. So for this event, it's completely appropriate. But as we're saying, is that across airsoft sites, I think people have, you won't sell an Op4 side if they can't have the same advantage as task force shall be. But then again, at the same time, you've got to give some elements because you want to sell both sides. You want to sell both sides of your event to have an event. There's no point in making Op4 so good that task force can't compete against them and vice versa. You've got to get the balance just right. And I think for Red Tide, we've got a few tickets left for sale. I think we've got a good balance for this one. We know we've got two good cartels. We've got great teams on the cartels, and we've got great guys and great teams on the task force.
Apart from Harry.
Yeah, apart from we love Harry.
No, I can't wait to meet this Harry guy. Sounds like a right card.
No, he's like, just guys,
Sorry, guys.
Simple little phrase, right? Op4 are not targets. Op4 are operators too. Yeah. So there are a lot of event organisers out there that plan all of their events around task force, right, or NATO, or whatever the hell you want to call them. But that's only half of the event. Op4 are operators too. They're there to enjoy themselves. They must not be treated like targets. And we think that allowing their use or unrestricted use of nods is a step in that direction.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
we sell out. Defiant events over the last 3 events have sold out Op4 before we have task force.
I think that's the same situation for Legion as well, mate. I mean, the Gladius 5 we done. I mean, it was the Op4 was formidable, a proper good force to be reckoned with.
Right.
Probably one of the best performances I've seen from an Op4 from a MilSim point of view. At Longmoor with Legion, they were brilliant. Brilliant, some wicked fair play all the way through it. It was like you say, they're not targets at all. And people would say that if you're dripping an MTP, it's like we're the operator force, and that's just who we're going to kill. It's like no, mate. That's a complete wrong attitude to have if you're going up against a good Op4 force.
Also, at the end of the day, if you're still answering this question, white light will always beat nods.
Yeah, I think there's someone over there.
Yeah, put a white light on someone with not. They're useless. So
no, the only way to defeat white light is with more white light.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then it literally resorts back to my dad's bigger than your dad and my dog's bigger than your dog, then, doesn't it?
I know the last Legion event we went to, we tried to sort of create floodlights, and I still need to perfect this, but I'm anticipating like a few car batteries, proper big, mounted high beam, because the number of sangers and stuff that you're assaulting that just maybe have like the odd torch. I want like the big, I'm not suggesting concentration camps were good, but they, the big bright light that you had in like the concentration camp towers or like guard towers, or whatever, like the proper spotlight.
Yeah.
I want to
like
try
a prison
and
spot
that.
lamp.
Yeah, that's one. That's probably better than mentioning.
Yeah, I'll go with a prison of war camp.
Yeah,
perhaps use that as a
prison.
A prison. Or a prison. Or just a spotlight. A really big spotlight. That's what we need to say.
Yeah.
We can't edit this.
You need to go rob a lighthouse. That's what you need.
Yeah, that'd be wicked.
Although, as a Land Rover owner, you should know those strip lights that you can get for the Landers. They're they're pretty powerful and they're only 12 volt. So
still yet to purchase me light beam.
I would not bolt anything ugly like that onto my lovely Land Rover.
yeah.
No, don't put it on a Land Rover. Hunting lamp, maybe a hunting lamp. Very, very gentlemanly for your rabbits.
No, nothing non-military is going on the exterior of my Land Rover.
Have you not got
inside
the
is a
next to the
different
wing mirror?
matter. Sorry,
James, on your land, have you not got the little open-ended pot on the outside so you can drop your spot lamp into it on the door?
No. So mine's a military Land Rover. No, it's a 90.
I've seen them on there before. Oh, yours is a 90.
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen them. It's literally essentially like just a cylinder tube sort of thing, black metal cylinder tube, and you used to be able to run the spot lamp from it, so the driver could have one in the front passenger. Used to sit just below the wing mirror. You'd be able to drop a spotlight and you just turn it.
No, mine's quite old. Mine's not even a Defender. It was before they renamed them as Defender. Mine is technically it's a Land Rover 90. Not getting into Land Rover stuff, but on the exterior of my Landy, it's all original. Interior, lovely. Different matter. I've got fridges. I've got all of the mod cons. You know.
Mark boy.
I just want to take a second.
You can't read that out.
Just stop quoting us. Stop quoting us online. Don't take things out of context.
Oh no! Why is it always you?
Andy's actually writing a book of quotes.
Yeah, I've left it downstairs because of my nap. I'll have to remember that one.
I'm not saying.
Changing the subject quickly, Ryan says anyone that says cartel can't have nods, then you should say force on force can't have nods, as Russians currently can't fight at night due to no nods of night aiming device. So
yeah,
that's because the Russian government has underfunded their army.
Yeah, they're not doing too good during the day either, really. Kind of one fucking night time.
On the subject of NVG, obviously thermal sort of falls into that. Is there same acceptance of full thermal and everything?
Different beast entirely, isn't it?
Yeah, let's just put the whole thing on that image intensifier. Yeah, it's an image aiding unit. It's all fine.
Let's put it this way: when you turn your big spotlight off, and I can see how hot it is through my thermal, then that's where I win.
Yeah.
And the white light doesn't affect your thermal. Your thermal is not going to be affected by white light, so. You just see the heat of the lamp and not.
Come on, Kevin! I defeated your thermal with an umbrella
and a sheet of glass.
Well, you need a caravan. Just pointing that out for the
it wasn't actually not a caravan. I was beaten by a camper van.
Oh, camper van! Sorry,
camper van, yes. The bloody
You guys might not have heard the story, but Lance basically launched a raid on an empty camper van because he saw the reflection of himself in the window.
In the glass, yeah.
Me, I'd like to add, it was me and my 2IC I saw.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. There was 2 targets in there at the time.
My camera's just fallen off. Let's give it up.
That was Leslie's question. For all those that don't have thermal or NVG, what's the plan? So I think that's sort of covered off.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Lampard says, question, Merlin Part 2?
Probably not. I think they're... No, I don't think so. I think I've got enough bad memory of you, Harry, not to do that one again.
Cheers, Harry. Thanks for that.
I think Merlin. I think if you turn around and take the sort of stories, the story at Merlin pretty much was that Task Force stopped most of the insurgents' activity with the sort of chemical weapons. However, not all the chemical weapons were actually recovered, so they're probably out there somewhere in the black market of Airsoft event story writers. Is there enough of them out there to actually make a new event? Maybe not. Maybe
the thing is about what we do is we try and base our events within the limits of reality. The problem with basing events in Bosnia and Serbia, and it's quite... I don't want to jinx it, but there's a potential that it might kick off within the next couple of years, and then it will be a bit of a dodgy subject. So we'd rather hit it before it got dodgy than Yeah. So guys that went to Merlin will remember registering to vote, and that there was some history behind that on who they, who the potential party candidates were. And if it goes the wrong way, it's going to be a big problem for the West. That is actually happening. So if we planned another event to happen in Bosnia and Serbia, and all shit broke loose, a bit like if we had been planning a game in Ukraine, it would be insensitive to have done it. Yeah, this is a fine line that we tread with planning events. We look at the situations, the current events. We look at what is feasible, but not likely to cause offence. Bosnia and Serbia, if you look into what's going on over there at the moment, it could honestly go either way. You remember a year ago we based an event called Sentinel in Transnistria. Transnistria is that's basically what Russia are trying to make their way to try and annex from Moldova. So if they make their way, and annex the coastal parts of Ukraine, then that becomes an issue, and we certainly wouldn't be looking at running events based in that location now either. So it is a difficult balancing act.
So Defiant, on that then, James and Kev, have Defiant ever considered sort of stepping outside of what would be classed as like the norm, maybe going sort of like a bit apocalyptic or anything like that for an event? Mad Max.
Yeah,
it's not as S&M as Mad Max, obviously, but stepping outside like the fall of civilization or something like that.
Should Lance, would you like us to do a zombie event and maybe allow those lime green thunderballs as well?
And I can I wear my Han Solo outfit?
Yeah, I can't see it. I think obviously cartels are quite safe because that's going to be going forever. Another possible area of the world would be somewhere like Mali in Africa. Would be quite interesting. I know that's contentious. That's the first place since 2014. I think the British Army have actually fired shots and killed someone, and that was only in the last 12 months. So something like Mali could be a possible type location for a game. It's happening, but it's not totally contentious. Obviously, I think obviously the event we did last year at Archer was just at the drawdown from Afghanistan. There's a lot of sensitivity. A lot of the guys at our event had served there. A couple of guys didn't come to the event because a lot of what was happening really brought back a lot of bad memories for them. So I think a lot of our friends, we're talking with some of our friends here as well, and teammates. So we are sensitive to that, hugely sensitive, not to take advantage and seem to exploit situations. But then again, you turn around and you look at the big MilSim West in the States. They've done a Russia-US game. They've done two of them so far this year. They've based their events around real life situations, and I think they're later on games this year are still based in that sort of domain and theatre. So they take a different view on that perhaps than we perhaps do in the UK. So maybe there's a different different mindset there.
Well, unless they're rerunning Red Dawn.
Have you thought about maybe made up names so it's not an actual?
Well,
perhaps using the conflict scenario, but then changing.
Unfortunately, that's how we ended up with Archer, which was originally based in Afghanistan, and with operations also in Pakistan. But we ended up, obviously, due to the situation, we used a very similar mission set, a very similar scenario, but we ended up changing the names to an entirely fictional country for that reason.
Yeah, Rage says, I thought you handled Archer really well. So.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was good.
So it's like, was that all the call signs were named after Rage? Was that event?
Typically, all of our Op4 call signs are Rage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So it's not about.
I remember you saying from the previous show.
Yeah.
I think, what was it? Cuddle Bunny 13 or something you was going to say. If we
Cuddle Bunny Princess 1-3. That's his call
yeah,
sign now. Yeah,
Cuddle Bunny Princess. That's it. Yeah. Can't wait to see that name taped across his shirt.
Mate, I was doing some wiring in my Land Rover the other weekend, and I was like, I'm going to stick something on my tablet in the background, right? And I put on our live from the other week, and Cuddle Bunny Cuddle Bunny Princess 1-3 popped up. So yeah, that's rage.
I'm just going to, I'm conscious of the time, so I'm just going to run through. I've been sort of collecting a few various comments and stuff. So Nerd404 UK says nothing non-military will be going on my Land Rover apart from Harry strapped to the bonnet.
He's not military.
Yeah.
That's fine.
If I put cam cream on his respective areas, then he's military, and I can strap him to the landy. Yeah, I'll just hog tie him on the spare wheel at the front. Anyway, carry on.
Dan says, I think Mexico, the Mexico cartels have taken down halos before, so
Doesn't surprise me at all.
just important on like the weaponry and stuff like that.
Have you seen some images
What do you
where
think Escobar brought down a blooming airliner, didn't he? many years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Red Tide's based in Colombia, but they have very similar assets and capabilities.
Yeah, so the names that we've used, one of the cartels is named after one of the Mexican cartels. Del Golfo is actually a Mexican cartel. El Hacha is based around James. Get the old Tomahawk flag up there again. So El Hacha is based around our standard Op4 team, which is the Axe Tomahawk. Okay, so based around that. And El Spada, James, that's a spear, isn't it?
Fuck me, Kevin.
All right. So what we've done is we've taken one real cartel name from Mexico, put it into Colombia. With the other ones,
Espada means sword or blade. So it's
sword,
nothing.
blade, yeah. Which goes on to a little bit towards the idea of like the spear thing. So the names we've got are linked closely towards some of the sort of Defiant standard sort of like task force stroke Op4 name. So a little bit of play on words and bringing in like a real cartel name but changing the country. So that's kind of how we write our events.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
So I say most of the teams that are on El Hacha normally play on Op4 for Defiant. And
go on, Mike. Get on to fucking
Right,
Harry's question. Go on.
Harry said he saw me naked slapping task force out of my room. He loved it.
Right. Harry died. Harry got killed. Harry's
naked.
Death picture got. Yeah, well, he was in his underpants. Harry got killed. His picture was taken, and now I have it as a priceless heirloom, as a mug. Right.
Printed on a shower curtain.
That's it. Oh, that's a great idea. Then he has to watch me shower every day. That's a great shower.
Poor Harry, wash your eyes, Harry.
That's it, yeah.
When you were talking about
Lars, I'm doing that now. I am doing that shit.
The shower curtain.
Either that, a shower curtain, or a non-slip bath mat, so you can stand on him.
What about printed several times around the toilet seat so I can sit on his face on a daily basis?
You
can have printed images on toilet paper.
Yeah, do that. That's a doable thing. You can actually do that. I've seen that done.
Harry says I went down with a fight.
Good man.
Not good enough. Your stag was shit. I mean, our stag was shit when you walked in. Your stag was shit when we walked in.
So obviously the chat about sort of various events that you could do in the future. Harry says obviously don't do an Airsoft Cardiff, which was the Russia versus Ukraine theme 48 hours after the invasion. So yeah, that's obviously a good one. Harry also said Will Smith versus zombies. There you go.
So that sounds like a film sim. And
an
that's not our
legend
mag.
thing.
We'll leave. If you want to do film sim, we'll leave that to gunman events.
Afraid of the Dark says Escape from Tarkov.
Is that some sort of game or something?
I think it's a game,
Yeah, no, meh.
James doesn't like that. I would really like to do that. You've got the computer game, but there's a small series documentary. It's about 5 12-minute videos, and it's up to about a 1 hour long video. Watch it. It is absolutely superb. It actually looks like they're fighting in Ukraine at the moment. It is a really good little story. It's really good watch. Yeah, just Google it. Escape from Tarkov series. It's like, say, 5 12-minute little videos. It is good. You'll be messing going, Kev, James, could you do this somewhere? Because this would be really cool. It's a really good little story.
Yeah, Kev, ignore James. When are you going to do this?
Unfortunately, Kevin doesn't get the opportunity to ignore James.
Sorry.
What was that?
Selective deafness works.
So Super Mario versus the Predator. Carlo said UK police versus Superman Roadman gangs.
What? Hang on. What's Superman Roadman games?
Oh, sorry, Super Roadman gangs. I can't read at this point. Yeah, I don't know what Roadman. Danny, where's Danny?
It's a street
Danny
gang type thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
street gang.
Yeah, roadmen are UK gangs, basically. Rude boys.
All right,
gangsters.
I would be potentially interested in doing like a police sim if there was enough demand for it. Ultimately, we can only run events that have got enough customers or enough players that want to do it. If there are enough people that wanted to do a police sim, then we could potentially put that on.
Oh, DEA and SWAT. There you go. Everyone's got the badges for DEA.
DEA is going to have to come back in it.
Yeah.
It's going to have to.
At this point, it would just be DEA versus the US Army or something like that, just because there'll be so many DEA people out there now.
Lance, are you going to shave your beard off and just run a stupid mustache?
No, I've already had this conversation with Ray. It's not happening. He offered me an entire Trangia set to do it, and I still won't do it.
I might do mutton
right,
chops.
there's a last few questions. I'm just conscious of the time. So Rage asked, with regards to role playing as such, what's the deal with corrupt DEA? Yes or no?
Oh, corruption is that such thing?
I wouldn't imagine that there's any corruption within the DEA. Although some shit did get mentioned to me that I was like, yeah, that's a war crime. Don't do that.
Clearly not played DEA with us before, have you?
Yeah.
Let's put it this way, Rage. All right? I'm DEA and I'm the fucking boss and I'm not corrupt. So if you see any corruption, let me know.
Or don't.
Or don't, depending how corrupt you are.
Is there a scale of corruption?
Just like that.
What would you say was full corruption? There's many, many, many different levels of that, I think.
Harry says it's only a war crime if you lose, apparently. So.
There's a level of corruption for Red Tide. If James gave me a lift home and the back of his Land Rover sinks with the 500 kilograms worth of drugs I made during the weekend, the back of it, you know, that's what corruption looks like.
Yeah.
And just going, this suitcase of money, it's empty. Where is it? I know nothing.
Yeah. Turns up in the Land Rover, leaves in an Escalade.
Are you joking? An Escalade's going to depreciate. A Land Rover's only making money.
True, actually. Yeah, that's very true.
Les says, what about a poacher game where you hunt for poachers?
That is on the cards. When I mentioned earlier that we're looking at a different rural event, we are potentially looking at anti-poacher in Africa. That style of event.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah.
Good.
I really want to get the Rhodesian brushstroke trousers and an SLR. I really want to go along back the old like cellulose scouts of like the Rhodesia sort of.
Can we bring Rhodesian Ridgeback dogs with us?
Yep.
Yes, you can. Yeah. As long as they wear doggles and take hits, that's fine.
I know a guy.
So yeah, there's a few things that I'd love to see in that. Is a bunch of fiberglass tusks and stuff like that, and I'd like to see Nerd 404. Nerd's come to a couple of our previous events. He did a burger stall for us at Merlin called Banging Burgers. I'd like to recreate Banging Bush Meats just because I think it would be funny. Yeah, so the kind of that anti-poacher stuff is on the cards. If we find a site that is suitable to do such a thing, we may put it forward.
Oh, exciting!
I like the sound of that.
Cool.
Yeah,
I
Rhodesies,
know. I know about sort of the Rhodesian camo in Wonderballs that says please with the Rhodies, because I know that it's quite a niche camo to get hold of, but the people who have it absolutely love it. So yeah, that might.
Yeah,
be,
I think that's the beauty of it. It's because Rhodie cam, Rhodie brushstroke is it's difficult to get hold of at the moment, and that is what makes it appealing. It's a bit of a collector's item, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got country companies like Fire Force Adventures. They've been doing it. Plat Attack have started to do some of their shots in it as well. Really keen on a pair of those. So a lot of companies are actually starting to make little bits and pieces in it. So it's coming out there.
I honestly think the problem with the Plat Attack Rhodie shorts is they're just too long. There's no way my nutsack's going to fall out of the leg.
That's
so
a
yeah,
good
I'd have to
thing.
trim them
We
down
don't
over
want to
the
see
trailer.
that in 36 hours.
Who likes short shorts?
We don't want to see them shaved or unshaved, mate. Honestly.
That's that meme, innit, with the guys running down the stairs when you've just shaven your balls. And it's literally that sound.
Right. Last, there's 3 left. So what time is Index on Sunday?
Oh, index, yes.
We're going to aim for 1100 hours. That time generally moves about a bit depending on basically whether players are flagging or not, or whether we think that it would benefit from ending 5 or 10 minutes earlier to get away from a potential set of 50 cuffs. But yeah, 2300 hours. 1100 hours is our aim for Index.
Cool.
Wonderball says Defiant a long more when?
Ooh.
Well, I tell you what, if you want to go talk to Landmark for us, I don't know. I would not say yes. I would not say no at this stage.
The thing is, with us, the way we are with our insurance, we have got the insurance that we can use mod sites and gain access. Obviously, places like Sparta, you've got the level insurance to use sites like that, mod sites, and more. So, you know, it's something we want to do in the future. Whether it's something we do in 2022 or something that we do in 2023.
In all honesty, I think that Legion have very much cornered that area of the market. Is it therefore a little bit? Is it overdone? You know, would we be just rehashing the same stuff? Possibly. Are we interested in that? Not really. I think there are other sites in there that we would rather look at the moment than Longmore, in all honesty.
Fair play.
Cool. Right, well, before I ask you the very last question, I believe you said there's a few tickets left still?
Yes, there is. And thank you for leaving it to the 1 hour 33 mark to let us push our product.
He's considerate, isn't he? He's very considerate, man.
Yeah.
We had to wait till the kettle boiled before we could fucking speak and hear each other.
Yeah. So, like I alluded to earlier, or like I said earlier, both cartels have sold out, but there are still some places available for both DEA and Task Force. So if you fancy doing some investigative work and a lot more role play, then DEA may be for you. If you fancy punching the shit out of Harry Lampard, then Task Force for you. Yeah.
And
that's all they're doing.
The more corrupt, the better for DEA, obviously.
Lance, I'm going to have to keep my eye on you, aren't I?
Not me, Governor. No, not me.
I will have you in cuffs by the end of the weekend.
Oh, I was hoping by the end of Friday night myself, but
Friday night's date night, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Or even straighten my beard.
Right. So
oh yeah. Should we entangle them? We'll do like a Velcro effect.
I reckon we could get a
Braid
bat out of these
together.
bad boys.
I've only just trimmed mine.
Oh,
no, mine's a bit haggard at the minute. I need to have a bit of. We should do an episode, me and James, on beard etiquette. We'll get Rage on as well.
Yeah. How's yours?
He'll have to go sideways though, because to fit his beard in to the screen.
Yeah,
I tell you what, when I started losing my hair, right, and I shaved my head, right, But when I started, well, before I lost my hair, I grew my beard right out, all the way down to my fucking nipples. And then I realised I couldn't get magazines out of a chest rig. So that was pointless. So yeah, now I can get slightly shorter. Genuinely, that was the reason for going from a long fucking stupid Hagrid beard up to a more manageable level, is so that I can draw magazines out of a rig.
Ray says you two don't have beards.
Yeah,
Rage's beard is something to behold, I must admit.
I've got to shave mine off next month.
What for?
Training.
Oh, what? Confined spaces?
Yeah. Oh no. I'll look like Mike.
Well, that's a good thing. We
No,
don't mind
that's
that.
not a good thing. Don't do that.
If we do it like this, it'll be 2 balls and the manhood in the middle, wouldn't it?
And the cock in the middle. Big hairy cock in the middle. Hello.
Right, if you want to check out Defiant Events, you can do so on the website, which is www.defiantevents.co.uk. They've got loads of promo stuff going on all their socials. You've got a little teaser video, I believe, as well, that I was watching earlier.
We got loads of Gucci little bits of shit laying around. Yeah, go and have a dig around. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to inflate his ego anymore, but the guy that we have that does, or the guys that we have that do our social media and our video stuff, he's very good at it.
Yeah.
I
must say, I was watching the little promo and I was like, oh, that looks nice. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think if you go back to one of the questions earlier on, one of the things that I think Defiant do really well, and probably better than anyone else, is our social media. Our social media products and output, and the quantity and quality of what we put out there. I don't see any other event organiser in the UK putting out the quantity and quality that we do. So I think that's one of our strengths.
Our events are pretty okay as well. I mean,
So I've heard,
the best things we do as an organiser is post about it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are we best at? We're best at putting out pictures and inflating our own ego and making ourselves look cool. No.
Cool, yeah. So if you want to get in touch with us as well, you can do so on our email, which is nofochat@hotmail.com. Instagram is @November_Foxtrot_NoFo, or our website, novemberfoxtrot.co.uk. We'll obviously be throwing up a whole load of pictures and bits and pieces as we go through the next few weeks, sort of pre-event and post-event as well. So feel free to check those out. Do you guys have an Instagram account? I couldn't find it quickly.
Yeah, we certainly do have an Instagram account. We do more through Instagram than we do Facebook or any other means.
Yeah.
So we are. You'll find it on. I think it's Defiant_events. Try that. I don't know.
Cool.
Just search Defiant and the hog will come up.
Yeah, there's only two. There's only 2 Defiant events out there. There's us, the official Defiant Events Limited, and some fucking cheap ass club up north somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally Defiant_events.
Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah, someone's on the ball.
That's all right.
Thank you, Andy. Good man.
That's all right. No worries. I'll be here all week.
Yeah, that's it. I'll be all right. Try the bill. Lovely.
Yeah.
Right, we better call it a day. Thanks, gents, ever so much for coming on again. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Yes, definitely.
Yes,
there are two last things I just want to run through. So, Nerd for a Force, James, get a lampshade for that light, man. Good God.
You need to sit with your head up so the peak's hiding it. There he is. Hey.
Marky Mark asked, so this is last question. For a person who's not been to a Defiant Run event, how would the 5 of you sell it? So obviously the 3 of us haven't been to one yet, so we can't answer that. But guys, how would you sell a Defiant event?
To be honest with you, that's the beauty of what we're trying to achieve. Is we don't want to sell it. We want you to sell it. We want we want players to sell it to their friends. Okay, I'm not going to go out and tell you that we're the best in the world. I'm not going to, yes, we do decent social media, but ultimately it's word of mouth that sells Defiant Event, and that is why we are growing. It's because we have done good things in the past, we have learned from our mistakes, and we have made changes. Okay, so hopefully the 3 lads up there, they'll have a good event in a week or so's time, and then they can tell their mates. That's how we grow. So I'm not a salesperson. I tell you the truth.
Be like, hey Lance, check out
your
this
mates
event.
have been to our event, they've enjoyed
Thanks,
it,
Mike.
and they recommend it, then come along. Sorry, I missed that one. Why are you
I'll
sniggering?
say, no, when we tell our mates, I'll be like, hey, Lance, I had a really good event. Oh, Andy, did you have a good event as well?
Yeah, I looked the wrong way.
We've never all been in a line before. This is new to us.
Okay, that's going to be our next caveat for booking on. You have to have friends.
Come to our event and bring 2 friends.
Can I essentially do this? Oh, there you go. Look. I'm in the middle.
Right, on that note, we'll say goodbye. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Gents, feel free to say goodbye in your own special way.
Thank you.
Oh, no, wrong nipple. There it is. Oh, yeah.
Cheerio.
Come and check out defiantevents.co.uk, and we will be back next week. I'm just going to fight through. We'll be back next week for a general Q&A. So feel free to join us for that. We'll be sort of doing the last minute preps for the Defiant event. But we'll be talking, oh fuck's sake, we'll be talking about all sorts of other things at the same time. Cool. Please don't quote us on the internet, but feel free to tell your friends about it.
Yeah, for the love of God. Yeah, please.
Right. We'll see you all soon.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
And the outro video wouldn't play either. Hang on.